The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning, it's Court Radio, and I'm Dean Weitzman, joined in the studio with my co-host, the one, the only, David M. Rappaport.
Good morning.
Hello, Dave.
Hello. You are ready.
Folks, it's the first Sunday in May. Can you believe it, David?
No, I can't. This is
And it's going to be 80
flying.
degrees today.
Yeah, that I can't.
It's going to be 80 degrees the rest of the week. We get some squeaking
Wow,
feedback.
sorry about that. That was
Yeah.
my headphones that, if they were on, would have rendered me deaf.
If you've got legal issues, you've got legal questions, you can reach David and I this morning at 215-227-2727. There you go. That's the number for Court Radio, 215-227-2727. And guess what's happening today, David?
What is going? Today's Broad Street run, I
There
think.
you go.
Yeah, 10 miles, right?
The most popular 10-mile run in the country.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
they're embedding little microchips into the bibs of the runners
Ooh,
for the
something
timing.
New. Is that something new?
It is.
Wow. That's
Well, the technology's been there,
Right.
but they're actually using it on the Broad Street Run this year for the first time.
well, there's a way to get an accurate time. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yes, you should be
I
able
never
to
thought
get
of that.
a time within seconds. This is Court Radio, your place to get your legal questions answered. David and I will give it our best shot. All you got to do is give us a call at 215-227-2727. David and my offices are down at 2 Penn Center, and this week we actually closed one day early for demonstrations.
Yeah, well, you know, everyone said it was going to be a horror show, but I don't think it was. It was actually very peaceful and organized, and worked out. So that's the way it should be.
Applause to Philadelphia for handling it appropriately. This was demonstrations in support of
Civil disobedience. No, it's it was civil disobedience, but
it was really
in Baltimore.
in support of the folks in Baltimore who were demonstrating for the Freddie Gray murder. And I say murder because that's what it's being billed as. You know, they're bringing charges against 6 officers, including a lieutenant down in the Baltimore Police Department. We'll see how those charges pan out, but you know, the fact is that it isn't every day that 6 officers are charged with various forms of homicide. So that's a pretty significant event down there. And the folks in Philadelphia were marching in support of that. But also, you know, I guess that Philadelphia is not immune from the types of behavior and types of actions, police actions, that we've seen in the news in the last few months right here.
Not to belittle the incident, but isn't that what they call it's known as the nickel ride? When they throw you in the paddy wagon without being handcuffed or secured to the seat, and then they run you around the block before they get you to the police station aggressively, so that you tumble and roll in the back of the paddy wagon.
I've had clients here in Philadelphia
happened, right?
that's happened to.
Yeah, absolutely. So have I. And usually you can do nothing about it because you can't prove it. There's no witnesses, nothing. Here, however, it was just a mixture of all horrible things. And unfortunately, he broke his neck and then died. And then they tried to cover it up and say, this ridiculous thing I heard before the police were charged in Baltimore. They were trying to argue that he broke his own neck. And I couldn't even understand that they were trying to bring that forth. It's a crazy argument.
I don't know how to say it. The police have lost credibility recently. When you have that murder that occurred, was it North Carolina or South Carolina, where the officer actually, they had it on video that he shot the
7 times
in the back
when he was running away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not one to say that that's a common event in America, but enough of it has happened and enough of it has been caught on video that it needs to. The best thing I've seen is these body cams.
Yeah.
If every officer is wearing a body camera that shoots the video back to some database that's holding on to it, every incident can be reviewed for learning purposes and also to disprove the allegations
I think like you said,
of
for
abuse.
Both reasons. Just like I liken it to, I was talking about this to someone, I liken it to, SEPTA finally, after all these years, we've talked about it. They put cameras in every bus now. And, they say in order to combat the fraud of people making claims when they weren't on the bus. But it's also to show legitimate things. It works both ways. And that can happen with the police as well. But the bigger point, I think, is that in our society today, it seems like it's getting, quote unquote, worse because you see all these incidents. I suggest that it's not any different than it's been for a long time. It's just that people are now so accustomed to video on their phones that it's being videoed more and it's being disseminated easier throughout the world, on YouTube, on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So we're seeing it now more, but it's not more.
The same with all crimes.
Everything, yes.
I mean, if you're, running into a store to commit a crime, I would say you're a fool. I mean, not that you were a genius as a criminal to begin with, but you're really a fool because every store, you have to presume, has video. Well, so they've got your image caught in the act.
Right. Well, we've seen some of these. Look, there is an element of just the person themselves, not just to use police as an example. Police know that they have a cam on their car. Yet we've seen police officers do some pretty crazy things, knowing that. Why? Because they probably forget in their rage.
Right. In the heat of the moment. In the heat
of the moment, they forget that there's even a camera there. But it goes both ways again. There's also cameras that show that they were justified in doing what they're doing. It's not an easy job.
And I would presume most police activity is justified, and it is the exception.
Well, this is the danger that we run. That's what I'm trying to get to the point of. You're bringing it up in a maybe a calculated way. That now that we see it more, it seems like, oh my God, it's happening every day. But this is just because we have so many, video now of so much media.
But here's the issue. I think the police, when something like this happens, have to crack down. They need to pull the officer.
Instead of
treat the officer as a criminal.
Instead of standing behind immediately and saying, this is why, they didn't do anything wrong.
They got the union behind them. They got the fellow officers behind them, even when they haven't established that they didn't do anything wrong.
That's right. You can't, you have to stand, you have to clean your own house, or else the whole house is going to be considered dirty.
Exactly.
Right?
Bam. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Janet on line 5 from Alany. Hey, Janet, welcome to Court Radio.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well, thanks. And you?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. I was calling because my son was murdered back in September the 4th of 2014, but he was in a car accident. That's not what killed him. He was murdered.
Okay.
And his lawyer that he had to represent him in the accident, him being a passenger, when I contacted the lawyer to let him know that my son was deceased, and he told me he would get back with me, and it's like every time I call and leave a message with his receptions, he never returned my call. And I want to know what actions could I take to get what's due to my son, although he left 3 children behind.
Right. Let me ask you a question, Janet. Janet, let me ask you a question. Are any of the children adults?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they're not.
The three children are his beneficiaries, okay, under the intestate statute. I assume your son didn't die with a will, correct?
No, he did.
Okay.
No, he did.
So the three children under the intestate statute would be entitled to the recovery of the personal injury lawsuit. But they're minors, and they can't do that on their own, so they need somebody, whether it's you, their mother, or whomever, somebody needs to stand up for the three children to represent them under his estate. Now, the question is, what's the value of your son's claim? How long did he treat? To what extent were his injuries? His claim does not die with him. Okay, so
I understand that.
his estate can bring a claim, but if let's imagine that he only treated for a few months, his injuries weren't significant, and he was limited tort. And I don't know any of that to be true, but if that's the case, the case may not have any value, or it may have very, very little value. And it wouldn't surprise me in a circumstance like that if the lawyer decided, you know what, I'm not going to pursue this claim. But if that's the case, he should tell you that. You have until you said the accident. When was the accident?
The accident was in 2012.
2012.
Yes,
okay.
My insurance company.
When in 2012? When in
auto insurance?
December of 2012. So the statute of limitations ran in December of 2014. That means that if the lawyer didn't file suit before December of 2014, it's too late to file it now. And so I'm going to presume the lawyer did file suit in the appropriate time frame, in which case, the claim is proceeding along. But, that's all a presumption on my part, and you need to confirm that with the attorney. But if a lawsuit hadn't been filed on behalf of your son's estate by the time December of 2014 rolled around, then nobody's bringing a lawsuit today because the statute has run.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But I think that he did file a lawsuit. Okay.
Yep.
This is why I'm calling for information on which way to go and how about going further with this case. Okay. And what I mean by that is the fact that my insurance, by me being the primary insurance holder, my insurance paid the medical bills in January of last year.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And when it's like, why haven't he reached out and said yay or nay to me? That's what my concern is.
The payment of the medical bills is not related to the case, presumably because there's someone who caused the accident that you're going after their insurance, unless they didn't have insurance, and you're going after your own insurance company with underinsured. But that's all irrelevant. The issue is this. The attorney you need to get information from the attorney as to whether, number one, they filed a lawsuit, number two, what's going on with the lawsuit, and number three, if there's been a settlement. There could have been a settlement that he's holding because there's an estate that needs to be set up and all that before you can distribute the money.
But since the kids are minors, the estate can't be the people who are bringing forth the claim.
Exactly.
There needs to be somebody who is the representative of the estate. That person is called the administrator. Okay? Right. And so the administrator is the person legally who is bringing this claim on behalf of the three children.
Right.
And if you're not the administrator, Janet, even though you're mom, and even though it's your policy, if you're not the administrator and you're not a beneficiary because the three children are, then you may not know what's going on. He may not have an obligation or may not even be legally able to share with you what's going on, since you don't have a legal right to put forth the claim if you're not the administrator and you're not a beneficiary of the claim.
It could be where are the kids? Are they with someone else?
Is it they're with mom, I presume?
Yes.
Yeah, well, mom might be handling all this. You don't know. Have you asked her? Are you close with her?
I'm close to her, but he wasn't married, and
Right.
it's 3 different mothers.
Okay.
So you.
But I am the estate. I am his primary beneficiary.
Well,
no, you're not.
If there was no will, you're not the primary beneficiary. The primary beneficiary is the 3 children. And so they're the ones who, if there is going to be a settlement, they're the ones who would get that settlement, not you, as long as there's no will. If there were a will, he could certainly disinherit his children and leave you as his primary beneficiary, but only if he left a will. Janet, thanks for calling Court Radio, and
You're
have
welcome.
a great Sunday.
Thank you.
All right.
And have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that Janet brings up, David, and that a lot of people don't realize is there's multiple facets of a claim when you have a auto accident.
Like a diamond.
Like a diamond, yeah. But there's the claim for the medical payments, which is one claim against one insurance company, and a claim for your pain and suffering, which is going to come against another insurance company.
Right.
And they're not necessarily the same claims.
Exactly.
They don't follow the same laws. All right. Anyway, let's talk to Albert, who's been very patient on the line in Willingboro, New Jersey. Hi, Albert.
Hello?
Hi. What?
Is it a Category 5 hurricane where you're at?
No,
Albert?
Albert, you got a convertible you're driving in?
Hello?
Hey, Albert.
Hi. It's
Yes.
Albert's driving in.
Stay out of the storm, Albert.
Yeah. Call us back when you put your roof up, Albert.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get rid of Albert was traveling my guess is on the AC Expressway.
I think he was in the eye of a storm.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any storm on the East Coast today, David.
Well, Albert had one.
Yeah.
He's had a little cloud over him.
Let's talk to Kathy from Wilmington, Delaware. That itsy-bitsy state
I think it's calm there.
to the south.
Yes, it is.
It sounds very calm there. Yes, okay.
Thank you for taking my call. I had a question on probate.
Yes.
My ex-husband passed away, and I understand there was no limit to file for child support. We filed and everything, but he skipped around, and in the last year, we found out where he was. And he passed away, and I had 2 children. They were not in the will, although one of them had started getting contact with him. But I understand that me, as the mother of the children who didn't receive child support, even though there was a court order, that I could file against his estate for the child support that he didn't pay. So my question is there a time limit?
Yes, I think. With the states, at least I know it's a year for all creditors. I don't know whether that's bound by that same law. But let me ask you this: was the arrears amount the support that you were entitled to, was that by court order?
Yes, it was. And I have all the papers. I went to the court, and
Okay.
I had all the papers from it.
All right, and the arrears were in the court, right?
Yes. It was transferred to another court in a state that they thought he was in, and it wasn't there.
Good.
So where? Let me ask you this.
Yeah,
where did he die? Where's the estate
He
raised?
died in the state of Florida, and at first there was a court order in Florida. Then they thought he went to California, so they transferred it to California. And I have written to California to ask them to transfer it back to Florida where he lived.
Right. Well, I don't know that you. Well, yeah, okay, but here's the best advice that David and I can give. When you get to estate matters and child support matters, they are state law issues, and every state is different. So
how can I find out what the state law is in the time limit to file against his?
Here's how you're going to do it.
Debt?
Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to call an attorney in the county in which your ex-husband lived when he died. So if it's Dade County, Florida, you're going to get yourself a Dade County lawyer on the phone.
You call the Bar Association in Florida or something, and they can refer you.
Yeah, and you're going to have to find out if you're out of time or not, and you should do that tomorrow morning. How much is the arrears?
It's only $2,200.
Yeah.
Because he only had to pay like $30 for 2 children.
Right.
And he never paid it.
Well, now
you're going to run into the problem of it may be,
economically,
you may not have the claim may not be worth pursuing because it may cost you more than that to pursue.
Exactly. And I did contact a lawyer in Florida, and he wanted, money up front with no guarantee that I would get anything from it. And
sure,
at first
because
he said there was a time limit of like 90 days, but I don't know if he was talking about the normal debt, or I know there's not a time limit in the state of Florida to collect for child support.
Right. Well,
no, he's talking about the estate and making the claim and doing all that. That's what
right.
The problem is the problem is that there is a time limit, and David and I don't know how long because it is based on Florida law. And if that attorney told you 90 days, then I'm going to presume, just for our conversation today, that may be correct. And so I would file your claim. I would take whatever document you have from whichever court, whether it's Florida, California, and I would send it to the probate court for the county in which your husband died. And there's no harm in doing that. I think at least it gets them notice that you have a claim. And if there is,
I know the attorney that is handling that.
Okay, well then I'd send it to that attorney directly, and I'd send it to the county also. To the
he is the attorney though for the beneficiary of this estate.
So you want to get it to the attorney who's representing the estate itself. He the nephew is representing. He got the attorney to represent him to handle the estate.
probate.
Okay, so he's not necessarily for the beneficiaries.
The beneficiary is also the administrator.
So he's representing both.
Right.
But you'd want to send it to him. You want to send it to the county clerk. Who's handling the probate
Register
court.
wills. Yeah.
Because, again, we're only talking about $2,200. And so the best thing you can do is probably put everybody on notice and hope for the best. And maybe you're not out of time. How long ago did your husband die, your ex-husband?
Last June.
Ooh, 9 months ago or more.
Right.
All right,
but I understand the probate is still ongoing.
All right, then I would get it out to those people and put them on official notice. Send all your letters, certified mail, return receipt requested, so that you can make sure you have proof of receipt.
Okay, and mail it to the probate, to the county clerk of
Register wills.
Relations?
Register?
Yeah.
No.
Not domestic relations.
No, you have
there's a register
the Register of Wills.
I don't know. That's what the Register of Wills is, the term they use in Philadelphia.
Most jurisdictions do, I think. But
okay,
it's the one that handles the probate of wills and estates, even if there's not a will, because you want to give them notification.
Let me ask you this. What is it about the 2200 that's making you go through these hoops to get it?
Yeah.
How bad was this divorce?
You're still pissed off.
The divorce was not bad. We were only married like 4.5 years, and he took off, and he, even in the court records, it said he would go to Europe before he would pay child support. He paid $70, and when the court collected it, the account had closed.
Uh-huh. How long ago was it that how old are your kids?
Oh, they're all grown.
Yeah.
They're not married, and one has not worked for several years, and the other one hasn't made much money in the last year.
So that would hit a sour note, and you want to get that from him even when he's passed.
Well, he's deceased. Yeah,
I know.
When he's deceased, the last thing he said was to my daughter to ask me to forgive him. So I hadn't spoke to him in all this time.
Do you forgive him?
Pardon me?
Do you forgive him?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
I can't forget, but I do forgive him.
All right. Well, listen. Good luck with the collections. I don't know. Maybe you'll decide that it's just not worth the aggravation. It's almost like he's aggravating you from the grave.
Yeah.
No, it's no aggravation. It's just that, I feel if there's anything at all, because he didn't mention my children in the will at all, and I feel he probably would have, but he just never got a chance because he was in an accident and died suddenly.
Ah,
Right,
okay.
right.
All right. Well, that's
So
unfortunate.
I should write to the clerk or the
Yes.
called,
Register of wills.
Register
or
of
find out.
wills for the county in which he died.
Yeah.
And also the
Yeah.
lawyer, and
And
send
lawyer.
them certified mail. And we got to go. Thanks for calling us, and have a
Thank
great
you.
Sunday.
Bye.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. What do you think? And we'll be right back in 2 minutes after these announcements.
It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident, but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-U.S. Claims. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-U.S. Claims today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly lawyer, when winning matters most. For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio, and I'm Dean Weitzman, joined in the studio with my buddy, the one, the only, David M. Rappaport.
Hey, hey.
David and I are answering legal questions. If you've got them, try to get through. 215-227-2727. If you have trouble getting through, you can always call us during the week. If you've got a legal issue that you think you need representation on, My Philly Lawyers stands ready to help you pursue your claim. Hey, David, we got a Twitter shout-out to Darren Kavanagh from the TV show
Deadly Sins.
Deadly Sins.
On the Discovery Channel. I'm looking it up now. I've briefly seen it, but I was kind of trying to figure out what it is.
I don't know what Darren does.
Why doesn't Darren call in?
Yeah,
Come on, brother, call in.
Darren Kavanagh.
We can
He's
butt heads together.
He's tweeting and twittering. Let's talk to Sherry from North Philly, who's got a question about a business partner. Sherry?
Good morning.
Aren't
Whoa,
you?
How
hey.
are you?
We're great.
Dean and Dave, it's good to talk to you guys. I listen to you every Sunday.
How many cups of coffee this morning have you had?
Sherry is an excited woman. Go ahead, Sherry.
So far, I haven't had any coffee, but I've had a half a cup of tea.
You better not have any coffee. That's all I can say.
I like my tea. Sherry, I like my tea as well. I like my tea.
That's good. Look, my question this morning is, if I've gone into a business with some partners and they forged my name to buy some trucks. Matter of fact, it's a trucking business. And I found out that, allegedly, that they have forged my name to use to borrow money from a bank. My question is, can I sue them?
Okay. Well, can you sue them? What would you sue them for? It's always a good question.
The trucking business.
Okay, no, but what's your damages? What you're going to go to court? You're going to say, court, give me X, because they have to give you dollars and cents usually. Or you could say, I guess, court, remove me from this deal because it was done illegally, which is not the same as getting damages, but the court does have the power to remove your name from the deal. What is it you want the court to do, Sherry?
Well, because currently they're back on the loan because I'm giving the late notices for the loan.
Right.
That they borrowed the money of. So I guess I want my name off of that particular loan.
Right. And how much are you willing to spend to do that? Because you're going to need to retain an attorney, and it's going to be by the hour, and you're going to ask the court for something called specific performance. You're going to say to the court, remove me from this loan. I did not enter this contract. My name was forged. Now you need, in order to let's work this through real quick. You need to hire a handwriting analyst to determine that the signature on the contracts isn't yours. And that could cost you a couple $1,000s, say. And then you need to hire an attorney to draft the petition, file it with the court, and request the specific performance you're asking for. This process could be a $5,000 to, let's say, $10,000 process. Are you willing to spend that? Because that's what it's going to end up costing. The answer to your question, can you? The answer is yes, you can. That's the answer. But now the second part of that question is, are you willing to do what it's going to take to do it?
Right. Wow.
I hear crickets.
Yeah, I hear crickets. Have you gone the simple route and maybe asked them to take you off of it? I mean, are they demanding you stay on it?
Haven't done that yet.
Well, that might be the first thing to do.
That's why I'm calling to get my options.
Yeah,
threaten them.
Here's what I would do.
Yeah,
I might send a letter to the bank that issued the loan. Okay, there's a bank that issued the loan, and I might send a letter to the bank saying to them that this wasn't your signature. It's not your debt. And I'd also send a letter, Sherry, to the 3 credit bureaus. And I would say, there's a debt on my credit, and that debt's not mine. And it was obtained fraudulently, and it wasn't my signature. That's what I would do to protect yourself. The 3 credit bureaus and the bank, and put them all on notice. And make sure, Sherry, when you do that, you send it certified mail, return receipt requested, so you have proof of mailing.
The issue is this: if you can get them to agree, either by asking them or by saying, if you don't, I'm going to file a lawsuit or whatever, maybe they'll agree, and you can get something in writing saying that you're off of it. That would be the easy way.
But
then
the off
ultimately,
of it, the off of it that David mentions is something only the bank can
only
do.
the bank, right? Correct.
So even if your buddies, your ex-buddies,
right,
who are your business partners, even if they said, "Okay, Sherry, we signed your name, we're sorry," well, they can't force the bank to take Sherry's name, and you might be the only one with deep pockets. You got cash, Sherry?
No, I don't have any cash.
Make sure you tell the bank that.
I'm giving it all to them.
You gave it all to them.
Make sure you tell the bank you have no cash. That they might be interested in that.
But you know what I'm going to do for you, Sherry?
What you going to do for me?
I'm going to get you a Court Radio T-shirt.
Woo!
See
great.
that?
That's wonderful.
You stay on the...
happy.
Sherry, you stay on the line.
Doesn't take much.
Monica's going to get your address.
She's stuck in a loan that she doesn't want to pay, but she's got a Court Radio T-shirt. Life is good.
And I'll wear it proudly. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Cool.
Have a good day.
All right. If you see Dean in Center City and you're wearing it, you're going to get $100.
Woo! I'm going to look for him.
Do you know what he looks like?
No.
Well, look on the website. Go to the website. Go to Court Radio.
We'll do exactly that.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Have a
good luck.
day.
Stay on the line.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
She didn't really care about that loan after the T-shirt came into play.
There you go.
That was it.
That's
I don't
how
care if
powerful
I know.
Court Radio
I don't care if I owe millions. I have a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
215-227-2727. Let's talk to Judy from Germantown, who's got a comment on the Baltimore.
Good morning.
I have a comment and a question. I run Kelly Drive 5 days out of the week, so I would love to have a T-shirt, A. B, my question is this. I heard on a radio program that it is actually illegal in some states to tape a police officer while they're executing their job. Can you confirm for me if that is or is not true?
In some states. I actually think it may be true in some states. There may be statutes that say you can't record. But there's definitions to record video and audio, and there's specific circumstances. Usually, I don't think so.
Judy, if something is occurring in the public,
right.
Okay, it's not private.
Correct.
There's no expectation of privacy, and anything that occurs in the public usually can be taped without permission.
But if they're running a covert operation or a raid. Let's say they're going to raid a drug house or something. It doesn't make the public safety would warrant that you don't record them and be able to disseminate the information while they're you're endangering people's lives. So,
but you wanted to the truth is
every state's different.
Despite the fact that I claim otherwise, while David and I are the smartest lawyers I know.
That's right.
Even we don't know the law
of every state
in every single state.
We don't. And some states, I would gather, maybe like Texas and some of the
Texas. Yeah. Anything dumb and bad usually happens in Texas.
Right. And it has to do with police and guns.
Yeah.
I would say in Texas, you might be right.
Or horses and cows.
Yeah, right. Well, no, that would be Kansas.
Wasn't there two guys who were charged with rape of a cow this week, I believe?
Was that in Texas?
I'm not sure if it was Texas, but there were two guys charged with defiling a cow.
Yeah, you don't see that on the East or West Coast.
Not usually.
But every state, there might be one or two. I'm not sure, and we will look into that. I'm going to investigate that.
Whoa, Judy.
Whoa, wait, don't
Judy
go.
from Germantown, hold on.
You're going to get a T-shirt.
Thank you.
Wait, stay on the line. Monica's going to get your address, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know. Look, does that consider, did she stump us?
No.
No, because we know it's not illegal here.
We have new rules on the stumping.
All right,
okay?
yeah. Let's define stumping.
It has to be a legal question.
Well, that is a legal question.
I know.
Go ahead.
It has to be in our jurisdiction.
Okay.
It can't be a quasi-legal question.
Or global.
About dark money.
Or global, dark money, right? We remember that one.
A political issue.
Right.
Okay? It has to be a legal question.
Right.
It can't be, like a social kind of justice.
Or how about I went to Jamaica, we love our Jamaican listeners.
Yes.
But we don't know the nuances of Jamaican law.
No.
We don't. No. I mean, we will learn. We will willingly learn if you invite us down there and want to teach us Jamaican law.
I had to claim a case in the Dominican,
right? But
so I know a lot about the Dominican law these days.
On a certain aspect of it, right?
Yes, personal injury, Dominican law, I'm covered.
And we will. I will say now. Let's full disclosure. I'm licensed in New Jersey. So I'll take the Jersey law and the Pennsylvania law. We do know a little bit of Delaware law, too, tri-state area. We can do that.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
For auto law and stuff. But, whole country, we don't know. Federal law, okay, yeah. But state law in, North Dakota, no.
And I know nothing about dark money.
Well, I know a little bit about it.
There you go.
I don't have any, and I haven't gotten any.
Last night I was up until 1:30 in the morning watching the fight.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The Mayweather.
I got 4 hours.
Sounds like
I got 4 hours sleep. I'm surprised I know my name.
there's
this
only
morning.
one reason why someone stays up that late to watch it. You know what that is, Larry, don't you?
What is it?
He bet on it, probably.
No, absolutely, positively not.
Then why the heck would you stay?
I had the entire Quinzel Champagne family at my house last night.
They must have been going crazy.
There's, he has 47 children, and they all came with their spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends. It was a Quinzel Champagne fest.
And you watched the fight. You watched Mayweather win. How was the fight?
It was okay. There's no good fights anymore. There was good fights back. I mean, these guys are welterweight and they were featherweight
No welterweight. But did he actually?
Their arms look like little twiggies.
Did Mayweather decidedly win? Could you see that he won?
They don't have the capacity with their muscle and
obviously you don't know anything about
to even hurt each other. They weren't. There wasn't even.
Get out of here! You're so ridiculous.
Come on, there wasn't even a welt on their face.
Really? They don't have the capacity to hurt each other. I would like Mayweather to once punch you at medium punch in your face, and we'll see if you can. And with gloves,
I won't
by the
even
way.
feel it.
Yeah,
I
right.
wouldn't even feel
You're right.
it.
You won't feel anything for a long time, and when you wake up from your coma, you still probably might not feel anything for the rest of your life. But that's a whole nother story.
I invite Mayweather into the studio. Okay.
I love this, Larry. We
he
gotta
can
make
give
this
me
work.
one shot, and I won't.
Lloyd,
I won't bring a lawsuit.
I'm begging you, Mr. Mayweather.
I won't bring a lawsuit against him. Just
I may
one
actually
shot.
pay Mr. Mayweather to come.
Oh
here.
yeah, he has a Brinks truck that follows him around. How much would you have to pay him, David?
Well, the Mayweather Pacquiao fight was in the tens of millions.
Tens of millions? Hundreds of millions.
The Mayweather Weitzman fight would maybe make $5 and last a millisecond.
215-227-2727. We're going to take a break to pay the bills. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident, but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-US-CLAIMS. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-US-CLAIMS today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly Lawyer, when winning matters most. For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Dean Weitzman. Joined in the studio with my co-host, David M. Rappaport.
Good morning. Hey, Dean, we got to wait for the explosion. Right, here we go.
You can fit it in.
Wow. Look at this. Listen to this.
One time you should bring your drums.
You want me to?
Yeah.
There it is. Whoa. Wow.
I'd like to, maybe you can bring like a snare. We could do a drum line.
I'll do that.
You, Larry, Monica.
That is powerful.
And then I'll come into the studio as you're all drumming,
You called me Dave. And you said last show that you were going to call me by my new name, which was Lux.
Oh, I am so sorry.
But the real Lux is listening with his son, AJ.
AJ and Lux.
Lux. Axel is his real name, but we call him Lux because we love him.
Ah.
And his son, AJ, are listening, and they might get a T-shirt one day from me.
Maybe.
If they're good enough.
You'll have to pay for it, though, David.
No, they'll have to pay for it.
The budget doesn't call for, graft T-shirts to your buddies.
To my buddies.
Yeah,
he's a good listener. So
do you really want? Do you want me to?
No, I don't want you to call me Lux. There's only one Lux.
David, formerly known as Lux, formerly known as David.
No, I can't.
Right.
I can't take the name. It's his name. There's only one.
Let's talk to Helen on line 5 from Northeast Philly. Hi, Helen.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great, thanks. So Northeast is a rather large place. Be more specific. Where are you?
Okay, I'm back on Castor Street, Castor and Bridge.
Okay.
Castor Avenue.
And Bridge.
Right.
And Bridge
Right.
Street. I know it well.
Yeah.
I know it well.
I know it too.
Northwood.
Yeah.
Northwood.
Northwood. And Larry must be, he has a kin in Northwood because he put the right hand up like power to Northwood.
Right. Hey, listen, I want to make sure I'm not getting in any trouble. I'm trying to find out what is a quick claim form. Is it the same as a quick claim deed form? My mother died 2 years ago, and before she died, we put the deed in my sister's name. So she's actually living in the house. So we found out the house is in foreclosure for about 5 years. She's been living there, and I think now she's trying to get the mortgage put into her name.
Okay.
And she said, I have to fill out a quick claim form. She said, will you fill it out? I said, I already have a home. I'm not trying to claim anything. So I just want to know what this form is, because I really don't want my name on that mortgage.
Right.
Because I already have a house.
Well, first of all, it sounded to me like she was just asking for some assistance in getting it filled out. Make sure it's not in your name. You're not signing it. She's going to ultimately sign it, but it must be some sort of a form that the mortgage company requires in order to convert the mortgage into her name. And if she's been there 5 years and nobody's been paying the mortgage, they're up. They'd probably love to have anybody responsible to pay it.
There you go. Yeah, because she asked me. She said they asked who you are. I said, well, I don't know why they asked who I am, because your name is on the deed.
Right.
Said,
and the key is her name was on the deed before Mom died, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think the bank is trying to look for maybe people who are responsible, but if the deed was transferred legitimately before Mom died, then it's your sister's property. But the problem is that transferring a deed when you have a mortgage on a property doesn't transfer the mortgage, and in fact maybe in violation of the mortgage, because the mortgage company wants to make sure that the person who owns the property is the person who's responsible to pay them. But at this point, how much is the property worth?
$110,000.
How much do you owe on it, ballpark?
Approximately 5 years worth of mortgage on that house.
I know, but what do you think the balance of the mortgage is? If you had to guess, what would you say the house was? If you had to pay the mortgage company before the 5 years, what did you owe on the mortgage?
I You know what? I have no idea, but I figured. I figured the house is worth about I thought it was worth about $80,000. That's what I thought the house was worth.
Okay, so let's just assume that the house is worth $80,000. Like you got that the house value.
She just showed me a paper.
Yeah.
From the mortgage company saying it's worth like over $100,000.
Okay, so let's say it's 100, but you owe.
Okay.
But what if you owe 50 to the mortgage? I don't know how much you owe to the mortgage company. If you owe 50, to the mortgage company. Then the house value is $50,000.
Okay.
That means that after you sell it, somebody's going to walk away with $50,000. My point is that there's enough money involved here potentially that you want to get a lawyer to look at all the papers. You want to
that's what I told her.
You want to spend a little bit of money in order to protect yourself.
And my advice to her was, if you want to fill out the quitclaim form, get a lawyer, fill it out, Xerox your deed, and send it in with the quitclaim form.
Exactly. And that's what you should do.
And I told her, and I said, I can't fill that out because I'm not trying to claim that house.
Right. I mean, you can certainly look at it and help her, but I wouldn't sign anything, especially since you're not involved.
This is the perfect thing. You just call Saul.
Yeah, right.
Give my office a call. Saul's away on vacation right now, but he'll be back a week from Monday. You call 215-227-2727. You bring your paperwork down. Saul will help you fill it out. He'll get the deed done. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit, but you're talking about an asset that might have $50,000 worth of value. You want to get it right. You want to get it right. It's worth it. All right.
And I'm looking at, you got a great picture on the internet with the black sweater shirt with your headphones on.
Handsome, aren't I? Handsome.
Send me a T-shirt now because I know what you look like.
Yeah. Notice how it's only his.
See, because I'm gonna be in Center City, so.
Notice how it's only his picture. Mine's nowhere to be found.
I already gave away 100.
Of course. See. Oh.
I only see him.
Mention that again. You don't see whose? You don't see David's, right? No, I only see Dean's. Right.
Well, listen, David. Last week.
Exactly. Thank you.
Last week I gave $100 away.
Right. Where's my
right.
picture?
Helen.
My picture's nowhere. It will be up there though.
Yes.
Or else I quit.
We need Helen. We need Helen's address. Stay on the line. All right, line 5, I believe. Stay on the line, and Monica will get your address. Monica, will you handle that? Okay.
All right, where are we?
We are talking to Rob from Northeast Philly.
Another
who's
Northeast.
got an orphans court issue. Line 2. There you go. Hey, Rob, welcome to Court Radio.
Hey, how you doing?
We're good. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Helen. Where in the Northeast are you from, Rob?
Like Frankfurt and Ashburner.
Oh,
a little further up.
Up near the Northeast Airport.
Yeah, exactly.
I once learned how to fly a plane. And
thank God that was once a long time ago.
And I had a little mishap, and I closed the Northeast Airport. I had a mildly crashed landing. It wasn't like the plane was broken into pieces, but I did pop a little bit off onto the side of the runway and got stuck in the mud. And they closed. Closed. Yeah, it was horrible. But I got back up there again and tried it. I soloed, actually. Yes, but it's a good thing you're living there now and I'm not flying. That's all I can say. All right, Rob, what's your question?
I just wanted to know how long approximately does a judge have to approve a motion for a distribution of funds if a death is involved?
If a what?
A death.
A death.
Yeah.
Okay.
If a death is involved and the judge has to approve a motion for the distribution of the funds.
There is no set time, and it depends on how busy they are. I've waited 30 days usually. Sometimes you wait 60 days.
You're talking about a minor's compromise? You're talking about a wrongful death, wrongful death petition. Minor. There's a minor. There's a wrongful death petition.
It could take 30 days. Usually is the minimum, I think. And
first
it could
of all,
take 60.
It could take
90 sometimes.
Here's what's going to happen, real quick. You do the petition. You send the petition up to Harrisburg, to the Revenue Department. There's a person up there who has to review it. That review could take a few weeks or a month. Once they sign off on it and say, yes, they're in agreement with the distribution and how much money is going to go to wrongful death and how much money will go to the survival action, It then goes to orphans court, and it could sit there for 30 days before it moves to a judge. So David, I think, is correct. I would say it's a minimum of 60 days, but it's very possible it could be 90 or 120 days before that whole thing gets worked out.
Think so.
Okay.
All right, Rob, thanks for calling Court Radio, and have a great Sunday.
All right, bye-bye.
I think David was correct.
You think?
Yeah.
You know I'm correct.
All right, let's talk to Carla from Wilmington. Hey, Carla, welcome to Court Radio. You're the second Wilmington person today.
I know.
There's only
to you all.
There's only
Wonderful.
three
Thank
people.
you.
There's only 3 people in the entire state, and they're all listening to Court Radio. What's your question, Carla?
Well, it just may be an outlandish question, or just.
Well, that's
shooting
good.
in the dark, but
We'll be the judge
my
of that.
husband's in huh?
We'll be the judge of that.
Oh, thank you. Well, my husband's in a federal prison, a low-security federal prison, and he's been in there for 20 straight years for armed bank robbery. However, he filed an application for clemency last year, and there's a new Federal Clemency 2014 Act that has been brought forward that have 6 criteria that the inmate the federal inmate that is, has to meet in order to possibly be pardoned. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the 6 criteria, but based on that criteria that I read, he fits the 6 criteria, and he did not kill anybody. He did not even hurt anybody. Unfortunately, there was a gun brandished, and there were 2 different robberies. His sentence is 30 years. However, I called the pardon office in D.C., and they said they have his application. They cannot disclose any information about the application and the process that it's in. So I guess my question is, and it may be just too much, or not enough information, but what could be the process? And also, do you think it's a possibility that President Obama could sign off to have him come home?
It's possible.
Okay, we're out of time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. Here's the deal. It's possible. It is usually clemency and pardons are by the decision of the politician who's in office, and it could take a year or more for them to make that decision, and they usually. They have to find compelling reasons to make the decision, and it's always by their.
Yeah, and as far as the Obama, that one is like hitting the lottery, in my opinion. I mean, he must when a president is leaving office, they get thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of requests for pardons. So that's a shot that I would say no. But through the act. I'm sure the act has a lot of specific things, and you got to go through them all, and there's probably a waiting time, and it's not going to be easy. There's no question.
I wouldn't hold your hopes up, honestly, but, I mean, if it happens, it's a gift from God, I think, because usually those things find their way into a trash can, my suspicion is, and those who are politically connected get it, and those who aren't don't. I mean, that's the sad truth. But in any event, thanks for calling. We got to run. We're out of time.
Thank you.
Have a great